You are listening to the Foamy Heads Podcast, where we discuss craft beer and anything else that accompanies a glass.
Got the hat to match my beer.
Yeah, dude.
I love it. That was not planned.
No.
I think you might be just like me. We just grab whatever clothing is available and just roll with it. Got a fucking gnat. Get back here.
Man, I hate those things. We had our water heater leak out into the kitchen and onto the subfloor. Anyway, water heater replaced. Now in its stead, along with the new water heater, we've got these little gray bugs that they don't do anything. Thankfully they don't do anything, but they're small, they're annoying, they make my skin crawl, but they're just these little specks of dust that will move every so often.
Are they white?
No, gray.
Okay.
They're not termites, thankfully. But They are called spring something. Spring flies.
Spring fuckers.
Yeah, spring fuckers.
Yeah.
So, spring fuckers.
Spring fuckers.
They're just everywhere whenever they want to be because of humidity, dampness, etc. So I'm killing them off with paper towels and hands and whatever. Just whenever I see them on the hardwood top, I'm like,
get fucked flies. Yeah.
But anyway, sounds like vinegar burns them and sets them on fire. So I'll be treating them to their own Halloween treats.
That's right. I like that. We were talking about doing some Halloween stuff, foamy head styles and videos that we may entertain. I don't know if that's going to come to fruition, but that would be fun to do. Some possible trailer park-esque like fuckery.
We could probably at least do a 35-second fast cut thing.
Something would be fun.
We don't have any cameras and stuff to make we also don't have a vet to make it cool.
I was going to say that kind of makes it better that we only have just like janky iPhone cameras because it makes it better. Sepia shit, some J-Rock style.
Yeah. We could list or hire DJ to be Cyrus with his Corvette.
He has a new Corvette too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's white, but it would work just the same.
Definitely.
So let's talk Common John Family Reunion Festival.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because we just got back from that, and that was a black. Well, hang on, I'm getting ahead of myself. What are we drinking, real quick? Because we're not able to talk about beer unless we're drinking beer, and we're both we have something in our hands, but you've got Resident Culture, the can I can see. What are you drinking on tonight?
They call it Lightning Drops. It's like you said, Resident Culture India Pale Ale, 6.5% ABV. And this is a 16-ounce can. It's a hazy IPA, hopped with Citra, Mosaic, and Strata. And if I remember right, it is, they don't say it here, but it might be contract brewed with Creature Comforts. But I don't. There's a lot of that happening.
Yes. And you know what though? I appreciate the contract brewing experience because it gives breweries the opportunity that may not have the overhead and the capital to have their own space, to be able to produce their beer. And I like that because they don't have to have a building. They don't have to have real estate. They can still brew their own beer. And I feel like everybody wins in contract brewing, but I'm sure people in the industry that have to do it probably have a different opinion, but I can appreciate the concept of it.
Yeah, and I get to have new beer.
And you get to have new beer. No complaints there.
That's right.
I won't complain there.
No, that's right.
That's a story for another day. I am speaking of new beer. This is new to me. So this is Alderson. This is the Living Waters Mythos 2023 release, and this is one of the Baltic porters that sits in at 10.1%. But this one is a chocolate cream, vanilla, Oreo barrels, Nashville barrel pick, 18 months, but cocoa nibs. I mean, like, there is a ton going on in this beer. This drinks like a stout to me. Of course, Living Water stouts are super heavy and super thick. This is considered to be a porter from theirs. This is like an Baltic porter, but this drinks like a stout from another brewery that may not be as heavy. So this is quite pleasant.
Very nice.
Big fan of the flavor profile. It's barrel aged. It's Mythos. This was, not to put Ryan on blast, because that man makes phenomenal beer. I think we'll all agree Living Waters makes great beer, but he was not happy with a couple of the 2023 Mythos releases and how they aged. So he re-released. And this is the result of that. And a year later, this is holding up nicely.
Oh, man. I can't believe it's already been a year.
It's wild. There's been a lot, man. It's the craft beer industry over the last 12 months, 14 months has been wild. It's been brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's not great what's happening right now in our neck of the woods.
No. You've got a lot of different outside factors affecting it, but really what it all comes down to at the end of the day is people just don't have money.
Yeah.
You know, they're making the same amount of money and everything else is going up and they're having to cut costs on commodities. And unfortunately, beer falls into that category.
Yeah. Big time.
And it sucks.
I miss being able to just brew hop.
Mm-hmm.
Just have a couple, jump to the next place,
Yep.
and relax for another couple hours on a couple pours, and then experience and spread the love. But
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to do that since, I guess, technically the reopening of the public space after the pandemic for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't remember
Shit got
what
expensive.
happened.
Yeah.
The prices, especially at groceries, corporations got their money, man.
I don't even want to talk about my grocery bill because it everything you used to be able to buy groceries for the family for the week for $90 or $100. Now it's $150, $160.
Yeah,
and that $60 has to come from somewhere, and that means I can't buy a 4-pack of this, or I can't go brewery hopping over here, or if I can, I have to have one less at each place, or I have to cut one location out, or something like that.
The worst grocery trips is when you have to restock paper products, cosmetics, and general care items, deodorants, teeth stuff, your necessities for general health, I guess, because they're always $10 a pop. I think.
Yeah,
it's.
And your grocery bill goes up to $200 because of it. You're like, it
goes up 100 to 150 or even 200% of what you typically will spend.
Yes. And you're like, I didn't even buy that much this week.
Yeah, it's like 4 things.
I remember back in the days when mom used to come home with a trunk full of groceries and it cost $80. And that was for 5 people to eat for the week. And now I'm averaging $15, $20 a bag now. And I can fit it all in one grocery cart with lots of room to spare. And I'm still paying $150.
Well, I hear cereal is a great dinner food now. So
don't even get me started on that. That was a...
Replace cereal with cereal pastry stouts.
Now you're speaking my language.
See,
you're hydrating and eating at the same time.
Yeah. You still get your fix, too, on that sweet American cuisine.
Get 2 birds stoned at once.
God damn right.
So, awkward transition into Common John.
Anyway.
That was, now that we're all depressed about the money that we spent.
Well, Common John, we didn't have to spend a lot to enjoy lot of things.
I appreciate Common John because, well, for lots of reasons, but there's not a lot of breweries that put on beer festivals for other breweries to come to. That's what I've always enjoyed. I mean, like you've got all these, brew pubs, and you've got beer events. You've got Great American Beer Festival. You have East Nashville Beer Festival. You've got the Preds, the Predators, Nashville Beer Fest. All of those where breweries come together and they like to showcase what they have. But it's very rare to have a brewery invite other breweries. I don't want to call it competition because that's not really it, but other breweries to their own home and say, hey, let's throw a party. And Common John does that. I'm going to share my screen real quick because I've got, let's see here. I want to share the entire screen. Fuck it.
You know what? Common John, you get this.
I like it. I'll allow it. That'll work. So when we walked into Common John, another thing that I really appreciate about the Family Reunion Beer Fest, which this is I think the third time that I've been to one. You might have been to one more than me. I'm not quite sure, but this is the third time that I know you and I have been together. And what I always appreciate about the festival is on top of it being on site at Common John and them pouring their own beers, but also they have a homebrew festival, like competition. And they always have like, best homebrew, best brew out of this, best brew out of that and stuff like that. So they have competitions as well. So it's kind of a level playing field for not just craft breweries, but for home breweries as well. And I think this year, we'll talk about it in a minute, but Backbone Brewing was one of the winners of the festivals for this year. And then I think out of the homebrew last year, Rubidium Brewing was the winners for 2023. So I always appreciate it. But going into like the festival, it's food, it's cigars, it's vendors, and then just a big ass beer tent in the back. It's so good. And
awesome.
Tons of breweries this year. I think so. Who did we hit? You and I hit together, and DJ was there also. We were talking with Yazoo. We talked with I know Living Waters was there, although Goodies World Beer was pouring for Living Waters because Ryan couldn't make it there that day. Yeah.
I know I accidentally skipped a few people diving into someone's beer first. Yazoo was our second or third tag when we started in that back tent where all the big breweries are.
And Yazoo was in the back.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, we walked past quite a few to get there.
Yeah. We did hit the homebrew tents a few times. We had some beer from Dark Shadow. We had a beer from Dirty Bird.
Yep.
There was a couple people, I guess that was Dirty Bird at the very front. In the middle, Dark Shadow and several other home breweries that we had things from, but I'm not.
Dirty Bird was brewing with From the Garage Brewing right up front, and they kind of like shared a tent and they had their stuff going back and forth, which was really, really good. I always shout out to Dirty Bird Brewing because those guys are, I mean, good people there.
Ryan's awesome. Ryan Schooley.
Yeah, Ryan Schooley. And then
me and him had a night on the town Chattanooga real quick, and then
oh, nice.
When they check our IDs at the same time, they're like, "All right, what's going on here?" Every time.
What meeting of the minds is occurring right now?
Yeah. But he's super fun, extremely knowledgeable. So,
I love that.
And then Common John again. I cannot reiterate enough. Really good time.
Such a good brewery. Such a good. Dark Shadow was there. They had an apple pie. They won. They got my ticket. In my opinion,
they got mine.
Yeah. Okay. So same with you then. They had an apple pie. I don't know. I guess an apple pie ale. I guess is what it was called. But this thing tasted just like dessert. It was insane.
It was so good.
Shout out to Dark Shadow for doing that. Yeah. We hit Yazoo.
Yeah.
What was their what was their sour, their Embrace the Funk that they had? Something de Blanche, something de Blanche.
Yeah, I actually have a bottle.
Oh yeah,
I do. I'll grab it real quick.
yeah. So many good events of that. So Yazoo was one of the interesting ones because I don't often drink sour beers, and we say this all the time, but I don't often drink sour beers. But when he busted this one out, he was like, "Oh, okay, well, you should try this one," and he poured it out, and it was such a good beer. Mitch, do you have it?
There's this one that he poured.
Yes, that's the one, the Blanche de Nashville, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a wit beer.
Yeah, I speak like third best French, so it's Blanche de Nashville.
Mm-hmm. That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
But he also gave us a strong golden ale.
Yes. Strong golden ale was really good too, which, if I remember, was a lot higher in ABV than it drank. It was, I think it was close to 10. It might have been like 9% or something like that.
Yeah,
maybe it was
a 10.1.
10.1. It might have been 10.1. Yeah, right on the dot for odd reasons enough. And that was so good. And you're right, that beer did not drink like
like high octane.
Yes. So, and another one. I feel like I'm all over the place tonight, but
we are. But it was a really good time.
I don't remember a lot. That was the thing. Like, that was one of those festivals where I just kept drinking and having a good time. Broadcast Brewing.
Yeah.
Shout out to the boys from Broadcast Brewing. They were there, and they were along the backside also representing, and they did good. They were right near Chad with Tenfold. Right back there, and it was a good time. I think they brought a red ale, and then they brought a honey blonde with them. That was really good. That red ale was solid, and I'm not a big red ale person because I've kind of been burned out on like macro red ale beers like Killian's from back in the day, and so I often avoid the style. But it's definitely something that can be brewed, and when it is brewed great, it's amazing,
dude. One more interjection with the homebrew scene at Common John, and it's almost like anytime you let homebrewers in to have a spot, they bring
they show up. Yeah.
So I've got a couple pictures that I was looking at, seeing if I captured anyone's menu, just so we could reflect on things that were offered that we didn't get a chance to really try. I got a picture of Dirty Bird's cooler, which is super slick, but it does not list all the beers. Black Abbey was there in the back tent as well. So, Carl and Isaiah, and there was one other person, but I forget who without seeing their face. And I didn't get a chance to drink any of their stuff. But one of the places I didn't get to try was Backwoods Carboys. And it looks like it's a brew club. So it could be several home brewers with taps here.
Yep.
And they had an English pale ale, a Mexican radio clone, a TJ's IPA, barley wine, super delic IPA, and then a honeymoon hydrator braggot. Holy crap.
They brought all those to the festival?
Yeah, dude. Everything ranged from like a 6 or 5.9% ABV all the way up to a 10 with that barley wine.
See, you're right. There is something about that. Whenever you invite clubs and homebrewers to the festival, they always bring their best because they feel that they have to fight an uphill battle, which may not be the case, but they definitely feel like they have to fight an uphill battle. And then in the end, some of these breweries bring like their year-round stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like the Common John Family Reunion Festival was a little different because everybody seemed the stuff that I tried while I was there seemed to be like, oh, we have this seasonal, like it's coming up on Oktoberfest season, right? And Märtzens and things like that. So, like Marble Fox was there, I think, with their Oktoberfest, and a lot of these breweries were there with their seasonal stuff. So Common John Family Union might be different, but you're right. When homebrewers are given the opportunity to show up, they don't bring
one
a golden lager. Yeah, and they don't bring They don't bring a basic lager ale or something. If they do, it's always phenomenal. It's always a lot better.
There was a Cemetery Dog Brewing there.
Cemetery Dog.
They were right next to Dirty Bird. I think we went immediately to say hi to Ryan. And then from there, it's like where's next? Where's next? You know, the other place is Moss Ailsley.
Okay.
Most Ailsley. I'm getting there.
We're not helping ourselves here.
Dude, this guy really likes Star Wars and other comics, and I don't want to say generational because it's aging myself, because I also like these things. For example, Darth Lager.
Nice.
It's a black lager.
Yep.
It's then he's got Dank Lithium IPA, American IPA, and Midstate Brewers is the next one. It's another one of those double tents. Supersonic, which I'm a big Sega fan, so Sonic's right in there. They could be thinking sound, I don't know, but whatever. Sound barrier, Sonic.
Yes.
Anyway, Harlequin Delight is the last one, and it's a strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla stout.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Dude,
how come I didn't stop by there?
I know. People kept talking to us. Then Rubidium.
Yep, Rubidium was there again.
Strawberry Smorter and Espresso Brown. They always have fun names, too.
Yeah, they do.
Fest Beer Oktoberfest Sunset IPA and an Old Ale. That's my favorite shit. And
Old Ales?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed it. So, oh well. It was, I guess Smack Dab Brewing was the first one. The Strawberry Smorter with Espresso Brown. And then next to them is Rubidium, which we've seen every festival at Common John. Fest Beer Oktoberfest Sunset IPA Old Ale. I do remember liking their beer.
Mm-hmm.
Next to them was Bearded Brews and Barbecue. I cannot read what they had, though. And that's where Dark Shadow was right after them.
Gotcha.
They've got, I can almost read it, Dark Oktoberfest, could be wrong, Freylines, and West Coast IPA, and then one other that I can't read. But that was basically the home brewer. It's just like
that's
from
awesome.
A right angle. And then it leads to the back tent.
And before we even got there, there were vendors out front. There was a cigar vendor place. So For the Wind Cigars was out there. They came in super clutch when it was raining. Yeah. So we basically, I went to grab a couple of cigars because it's always a good idea to smoke a cigar when you're drinking beers at a beer festival. Went and grabbed a couple of cigars. Came back, gave you one of them, and then all of a sudden it started like sprinkling and raining. So we just went back to For the Wind Cigars and we just hung out underneath the tent. And we talked, and it was such a good time. Good people there. We're going to be reaching out to them to see if we can do something with them as well. And Nathan from the Nashville Craft Beer Social Club ended up joining us under the tent also and was talking, and we had a good time. So there's just that organic conversations that happen at beer festivals that honestly I don't think could happen at other beer festivals. Like it would happen at Dark Lord Day, but you're talking about sharing beers. But when you're at something like Common John, you're talking about sharing ideas and collaborations and things like that, because Common John family reunion festivals, they invite those discussions on people at the local level because they have the home brewers club. They've got the small vendors that are there. So it's always a good time.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Apparently, my photos do stop, but Tenfold was after that.
Yes.
You got to talk to Chad when you see
Chad.
that.
Yep. Shout out Tenfold.
Dude. They showed up with some good beers and a beer that wasn't released yet publicly. They brought that to the festival. So another reason to go to festivals is you get beers ahead of schedule.
Some people do that, and then some people do that. Other people just bring the basic stuff. I feel like people have to show out a little bit more at the family reunion festival, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and picture of Joshua from Yazoo that was there serving. And
so
slinging.
Good.
And he has that exact bottle we talked about earlier, and he's pouring it for us.
Blanche de Nashville. I liked that beer. I was very impressed with that. Matter of fact, I checked that in on my Untapped, and quite a few people sent me text messages, and they go, dude, where did you get that? And I'm like, it's Common John. Like we were drinking it at the festival, and they were like, I wish I still had my. I know Jim was texting me about that. And he was like, I still have one bottle, and I'm just debating when I should drink it. I'm like, drink it, dude.
Yeah,
drink it. It's why you have it.
If you liked it when you had it, you'll enjoy it just the same before it gets a little more muted and other profiles of it. You know,
yep.
Brandon makes great stuff at ETF. Anything you age, though, has that chance to just change over time. And you don't know what you'll get.
If you have it, enjoy it.
Yes.
That's what it is. He's not going to release it until it's ready to drink.
Yes. Yeah. That was the end of my photos as far as...
that's pretty early in. Wow, yeah, it didn't last long.
No, I just got distracted.
Again,
it's one of those festivals that you're going to really have to work hard if you're there to work, because it's so many good people. It's a really good time. You really don't want to have to work because you're going to be talking a lot.
And you're going to miss a lot of stuff. Yeah. I know next to Yazoo, continuing down that back line was Marble Fox was there, and they had their Sorbet IPA that was really good that I enjoyed.
That's right.
And then there was a lot, man. Mayday was right across from them. Just a ton of breweries. Living Waters was there. Goodies World of Beer was pouring for Living Waters, which was funny to see.
Good old Goody.
Good old Goody.
Zool, man. They brought their what's his name?
Was it their PB&J mixtape? Didn't they have their PB&J mixtape there?
They did.
Okay.
They also brought their mascot, the little gremlin.
You got a picture of that, so that's posted on our Foamy Head social page on Instagram. Yeah.
Can't remember his name, but
that was such a good picture.
Yeah, that was super fun. They bring that guy everywhere, I think. And I always forget, and when I see him, I'm like, hey. But yeah.
Representing Chattanooga, Hutton and Smith was there.
That's right.
Wanderlinger was there. Going over to Knoxville, Print Shop represented a little bit. Yeah, I totally missed Print Shop, but they were there.
That sucks. Oh well, next time.
Yeah. Fate LaForce coming back into Nashville. Middle Ground was there, and of course we talked about Broadcast. We talked about Chad at Tenfold. Crazy Gnome, shout out Crazy Gnome.
Crazy Gnome Grayson was there. Yep.
Cedar State. Okay, Grayson, that dude is doing a lot of cool things. So Cyanide Cidery just opened up not too long ago. So he's got the brewery going and the cidery.
They've been busy, dude. If I'm not mistaken, it's relocation and the new business cidery.
Yep.
Right.
He's staying busy, man. I'm telling you. Shout out to the boys at Cedar Glade coming over to Murfreesboro, right? In addition to Middle Ground being there. That's right. So Cedar Glade was there too. Yeah, man, it was a ton. Nashville Brewing Company was there. Twisted Copper.
Dude, Twisted Copper. Yeah. I remember them from the previous year.
Half Batch from Hendersonville. That used to be your old stomping grounds.
That's right.
Yep. Shout out Panther Creek, still in Murfreesboro. Sad news to hear about Panther Creek. They just posted the other day that their tap room's closing down.
Yeah, they. I've got to go look at the dates again. They've got their last. Is it a last event?
Their last day open in the tap room. I want to say it's like October. Let's see.
It
Panther
sucks
Creek
to
Brewers.
see a Murfreesboro brewery head on out.
Yeah.
But as far as I understand, too, they're not gone for good, but they will be slinging their beers through town. So
that's
you
correct.
can still support them, but yeah, that's the space where they're at.
That was the Green Dragon. October 5th. I just looked. Will be their last day, so that's a Saturday.
October 5th. Okay. So they got a month-ish.
Yeah, a little less than a month. Ebony and Ivory. We talked about those guys last year when they were at the Common John Festival last year.
I think, did they have the Rainbow Road?
Last year?
No, it's this year.
Can't remember. Honestly.
Yeah, I get it.
There was so much there.
Rainbow. Oh no, that's a thing there. That's not clear, but I don't know.
Monkey Town. I was not aware Monkey Town was there. I didn't see them. I guess I didn't make my way over to that way. But Monkey Town is one of DJ's probably favorite place to go pick up IPAs. They've got locations. They've got a Chattanooga location, Mitch. Whenever we take our son to go to the train station, it's not too far from there. They've got a Chattanooga spot there, and their food's really good.
I'm looking to see what part of town it is. I've still yet to really do the dance through the breweries in Chattanooga, north.
Yep.
North Chattanooga into Red Bank. Okay, they're in Red Bank.
So, it wasn't just beer, and it wasn't just, so we talked about For the Wind Cigars was there. Ghost Town Barrel Ventures. So Shane Rogers was slinging, not just his barrel aged stuff, but he was also making pierogies. Yeah, shout out to Sean Evan Smith for slinging pierogies. Also, shout out to Sean.
Hell yeah, yeah. Sean was MVP in that tent.
Yeah, he was.
Pierogies.
Yeah, he was.
I needed them, and he got them done for me. They were good,
man. And then food truck. Oh, we had food truck. It was a sandwich. Press Box 11 is what I see on like the food truck place. I couldn't remember if that's where we stopped, but man, you had a bologna sandwich for like $5, which hit right. I think if I remember correctly, you were like, dude, I could just have 2 of these and I would have been okay.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Smoked bologna. It was smoked bologna and a cheddar of sorts, and you can't get better than just all of that melted, pressed, and toasted.
Yep.
Just crunchy, greasy, smoky, savory, and you got the sharpness with the cheddar. It was awesome. It revived me.
And that was at the end of our drinking, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, we were considering checking out, dude.
Yeah. I think we hit. So we came in and we ordered the new Slow Down Easy. I think it was Chapter 15 from Common John. And we sat outside and drank that beer there. And then from there, we just went in and started demolishing beers, man. We started having conversations. We were talking. We were drinking beers. We were linking up with people. It was fun. And then right when we got to that point where it was like, oof, I don't know if I can do anymore, we were like, we need to go get food. And then we ended up going to get food, and that hit just right. It was the food that we needed.
It was a close call there. The food, typically we should have probably pre-gamed a food item before we really started getting beers. But for whatever reason, it revived us just in time. So
I'll tell you, the flaming hot Cheetos I had beforehand and the Monster Energy drink was not a good idea before drinking a bunch of beers. It sounded like a good idea. It was not a good idea.
Flaming hot Cheetos always sounds good.
It always does. And why we gotta be flaming everything? Have you noticed that? Like, everything is flaming nowadays. No, I don't.
They succeeded, and everything wants to copy.
Sure, we'll call it that. They succeeded. But everything is flaming now. They're flaming Cool Ranch Doritos. They're flaming all of these kinds of foods.
Even all our men.
Even doesn't stop at chips. Where the hell that came from?
I don't know. Everyone's flaming hot.
Yeah, I guess that works.
Just
flaming hot Cheetos.
Flame on.
Flame on. Do you? 2024. You can be whatever you want to be.
That's right.
I was
trying to find the Rainbow Road I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That was a street side brewery.
Okay, so it wasn't Ebony and Ivory then.
No, they were. I think it was right next to Ebony and Ivory, and I talked to them. But I did not get a picture. I enjoyed the conversation and learned a bit about them, and they're down to talk as well. It's just everything went by so fast, and
yeah, we were there for 4 hours.
It felt like one.
Yeah, that was insane. So when we were at the Predators Craft Beer Festival, and we were down, we were talking with people. We were there for I think 2.5 hours. And it felt every bit of 2.5 or 3 hours. Like, it was a fun ass time, but it felt like the time. But Common John Festival, man, always goes by so fast.
Yeah, it's just a black hole. The time just goes away.
I think it's the conversation with people.
Has to be.
Because other beer festivals are set up to where, like, you just hit and then you sample beer and you try it. The family reunion is that. It's set up for conversation. It's got home brewers, it's got vendors and food trucks, and then they have one big tent with all the breweries, and it's just a big party, and people are talking and hanging out. That is the differentiator from other beer festivals, in my opinion.
Yeah. It feels like you're in extremely good company compared to other festivals. I guess it helps that they're on site at their restaurant brewery. But it just seems like it's your neighbors, family, and friends that are there, even if they're complete strangers. Everyone's just easy going. You get along. There's music playing. Everyone celebrates whoever wins. It's all very uplifting. Everyone, I don't know, man. It's rare to have that kind of festival that it just goes by so fast. You don't think.
That literally brings us back around to the beginning when we were talking about there's very few, it's very rare to have a beer festival at a brewery where people just come together and enjoy company. We were talking with people we didn't know and we were just hanging out. Part of it was probably the loose from the beer, but like it was still a good time. And we would be remiss if we did not shout out to LeBron and John. Because those guys arguably probably did the most planning and putting this thing together.
Yeah.
And LeBron even said that when he was talking to me. He was like, without John, this thing would not happen. And I know John would say the same thing about LeBron because it's his brewery and he just wants this to happen every year. When he was telling us about it, he was like, cheers to next year because it's going to happen next year also.
Yeah. John is as far as I understand, he works his ass off at that festival. Before, during, and then probably having to after.
Yep.
And he's definitely super fun to be around, being a chief fun officer.
Chief Fun Officer, the CFO. If you haven't, go back a few episodes because we sat in the back room with Common John.
Yeah.
Actually, might have been 2 years ago. I think it was before the 2022 Craft Beer Festival. We were there the night before it happened, and we got to get on site. LeBron and John definitely took time out of their evening to sit down and talk to us, and we went through the gambit on those beers. Like, it was a good time.
It was also one of the best primo spots you can get for a craft beer podcast, especially like it's two of us with like a minimal footprint kind of gear setup. They threw us into the brewery side of the business, and you can't get better than that.
It was
You're
so
around
great.
The steel, it's awesome.
So great. And next year will be good too.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the 2025. Assuming this world is still around, Mitch. If it hasn't been burned to pieces at this point, nothing surprises me anymore.
Yeah, I don't know where the clock to midnight is right now, but it's always been there since I've been born. So
yeah.
I'm just waiting.
That's true. How many once-in-a-lifetime events have we lived through? It's insane. Floods to tornadoes to nuclear war possibilities.
We're like maybe 1 or 2 minutes to midnight. That's why I decided to buy a house in this economy.
Yeah.
So I was like, I get to enjoy it for a little bit.
Yeah. And then you won't have to pay a mortgage payment after a couple of years.
That's right.
It'll be blown to smithereens.
The house, it's free in the end.
It's free, man. You won't be around to see it, but it's free. Good time. It was a great festival. It was a great time. Shout out to Common John. They definitely did their thing. last year was great. This year was even better. And I have nothing bad to say about last year's festival. It just felt even more homely than last year.
Yeah. The one thing that always happens, if you do plan to go, you've listened to us, we've talked you into it, just be prepared for a little bit of rain. Sometimes a little more rain. Mm-hmm. It's Tennessee. Get over it. But, you know, it's hit us 3 out of 4 times, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know. It feels like we always get a little sprinkle regardless. So be ready for that.
Yeah. They got tents.
They do.
And they have cigars. For the Wind Cigars was out there. And they'll...
if it does rain, you can just run into the building, too. You know?
That works. They have beer there, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, they got you covered.
Yeah. That wasn't lost on me. You got that one. Yeah, so good time. We wanted to jump on. We wanted to talk about just quickly about the Common John Beer Fest, just because it's something that Mitch and I look forward to seeing every year, going to every year. It's probably one of the best beer festivals in the greater Nashville area. So yes. I'm glad we got an opportunity to hop on here for a few minutes tonight, Mitch, and just talk about it. It was a good time.
Dude, I just can't express how much I enjoy that festival. It may be a little out of the way, but I guess we'll add one more piece of insight here. It stuck with us this long. They offer codes for hotels down there.
Yes, good point. Good remembering.
It is Manchester, so if you're Nashville based, you're traveling 40 minutes or maybe a little longer, depending if there's I-24. For goodness, blocks your way from getting there.
Yes.
So you probably want to go ahead and secure a room, get that discount code, and just enjoy the ride there. Mm-hmm. I don't think they close when the festival ends, so you can still stay on site, get beer, get more food if you'd like. They've got music playing all the way through into the sunset.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've stuck around to dusk, but I haven't been, around the whole
to the end. Yeah.
I mean, they party the whole day.
It's so good, and you're right. They do have discounts that they offer on hotels. So they work with the hotels, the 1 or 2 that are in Manchester, to get you a discounted rate, because they don't want you driving home so plastered that you can. And they always have things going on with like Uber and to get you safe to your spot. So that's not lost on them either.
Yeah. They've dotted I's, they crossed the T's. It's well done.
So if you're in the Nashville area and you haven't been to a Common John Beer Festival before, next year you need to go to a Common John Beer Festival. It's absolutely something to do. If you've been to a Common John Beer Festival, you already know it's awesome. So we'll be there next year. I know I'll be there next year. Mitch will probably also be there next year. And
this shit is big time!
Yes. Nothing else to say there, Mitch. That was it, man.
All right.
That was great. Cheers. Empty bottle here. So
yeah. Congrats, man. Cheers on my second.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.